Coby, Joe Colley, Chicago Sun-Times. You've always talked about you kind of take stock into every offseason of working on weaknesses and continuing to cover up as many things and improve those things. What was your focus this summer? I know you spoke a lot about defense last year, that wanting to get better on that side of the ball. With on and that kind of stuff, how important is that for you? And then was that something that you did work on? I mean, where you just kind of focus in on hey, this is the next thing I need to cover up.
I guess you could say that. I'm always working on that end of the court. I think I made leaps after my third or fourth year in one of those. But for me, it's just continuing to work on my whole entire game. I still have a long way to go. So this summer, really honed in. My number one goal was to hone in on my conditioning so I can become that two-way guy, so I can, put forth the same effort on both ends. So that was a big thing for me this offseason, was conditioning, and then just building on my overall game, whether it be hitting contested shots, ball handling, playing in the paint more, playing with better pace in the paint, keeping my dribble on pick and rolls, whatever it may be. I kind of just try to work on, a little bit of everything this summer, like I always do.
Coby, Casey Johnson with the new Chicago Sports Network. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, obviously you took such a jump last season at both ends, but particularly offensively. How do you envision taking another step this season when you're going to be in a role where you're playing some on the ball and now with Josh Giddey some off the ball as well?
Just adapt. I'm used to playing different roles, and I've been doing it my whole career. Just on the ball, off the ball, whatever it may be. I think I thrived in multiple roles. So for me, I'm excited. It's a different opportunity to learn coming off last year, just stepping into a new role. So for me, like I said, I just take it day by day, one day at a time. I'm excited. New season, so got a lot of new faces here. Getting to know these guys has been great on and off the court. So I've had a blast getting to know them and playing with them.
Hey, Coby, Julia Post, Chicago Tribune. Kind of following up on that, what sticks out to you about Josh Giddey as a player, and how do you kind of envision your games matching up together?
Well, playing against him, he's obviously a really big guard. He's tall, 6'8", 6'9", whatever you want to say. Can really pass the ball, has a high IQ, really competitive, has an edge to him. So that's the thing I like about him the most, is that he's super competitive. He wants to win. He's not going to back down. So for me, just getting to know him off the court has been great. Also, he's a really good dude, really great guy. So I'm excited. He brings another dimension. Obviously, with Zoe coming back, him and Zoe going to be able to push the pace, kicking the ball ahead. Both being pass first guys, so we're all excited for him to be here, and we're blessed and fortunate for him to be here.
Coby, right here, Josh Hicks, Honor Daily News. Obviously, last year you had a very impressive year where you made a case for Most Improved Player of the Year. In your eyes, what is the next step that you want to take to achieve to go higher in that way? And do you have any personal accolades that you want to achieve this upcoming season?
Obviously, build off last year. Staying consistent in that. Obviously, I think each year I've been getting better and better, so that's kind of how I just want to focus on. Personally, I don't really have much accolades. Obviously, build off last year. But like I said, each year I just want to get better and better, so that's what I'm focusing on, just taking it day by day, and I take steps that way, not looking towards the future, living in the present, living in the now. I think that takes away a lot of pressure on yourself. Is if I just control what I can control today, which is getting better mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So that's kind of how I look at it and kind of how I view it.
Coby, Mike McGraw, Daily Herald. You can make an argument that your two best years in the NBA were when you were kind of considered the full-time point guard, including last year. Have they talked to you about what this is going to look like now that you're adding, in theory, Lonzo and Giddey, two other guys who can play the point along with you?
No, not really. Obviously, I know I'm gonna have the ball in my hand, and obviously I'm not. So I think it don't really take much to figure that out. But for me, it's all about growing and maturing. I think one of my best attributes is that I'm real versatile in the way that I can play off the ball and on the ball. So for me, it's just continuing to grow. And like I said, I'm gonna use this as a learning experience. Obviously, like you said, would I want to have the ball in my hands all the time? For sure, but that's not realistic. I got really other good guards on this team that's just as good with the ball in their hands. So for me, it's just doing what's best for the team, and I'm excited about this year coming up. Like I said, I can play on the ball and off the ball, and that's something I take pride in.
Yeah, Coby, Darnell Mayberry, The Athletic. You got some new voices on the bench this year, assistant coaches. What can that do for a team, bringing in some new voices? And then also, what have been your impressions so far of Dan Craig and Wes Unseld Jr. specifically?
Yeah, I've gotten to know both of them really well over these couple of weeks. They're really great guys off the court, and you can hold a conversation with them and, getting to know them. They're really good guys. Obviously, both have really good experience. Coach Dan, obviously was in Miami for all those years, so he comes from a winning culture. And obviously, Coach West was in Denver. He was a head coach, so both of those guys got a lot of experience. And for me, like I said, I always just trying to find ways to learn. And I've been picking those guys' brains day in, day out. Me and especially Coach West, we talk all the time, and Coach Craig too. But we talk a lot, and just trying to get their perspectives. And, like I said, they've been around winning. They've been around winning organization, winning culture. So for us, we're trying to build a culture here. And so just learning from those guys and what they've experienced over the years has been really good for me.
Coby, is one of the veterans on the team. One look backwards. Can you just kind of summarize what Alex Caruso and DeMar DeRozan meant to this franchise over the previous 3 years, and what will it be like facing them as opponents?
It'll be weird, first off, facing them. It's crazy. We faced Alex in the home opener. But those guys I learned so much from those guys that I'm forever thankful that I get to call each of those, legends, teammates. So for me, those are relationships between me and those guys that's going to last a lifetime. And I was super grateful that I got to learn from those guys, pick their brains, and obviously even more grateful that I get to call them friends and I get to, reach out to them and learn from them at any moment. No matter what team we're on, I know I can always count on those guys to be there for me, and I'll always be there for them. So it hurts. I'm not going to lie. It hurts losing teammates, but especially when you build bonds and you go to war with those guys each and every day. I know Alex's whole family. Whenever I'm in LA, I know Debo, his son. I FaceTime his son. So it's it's hard losing those guys when you get those close to somebody, but it's part of the business. But yeah, we obviously lose a lot. We gain a lot, but we obviously lose a lot. And especially with those guys of DeMar, his fourth quarter scoring, his leadership in the games, and then AC, his first team all defense. I think that speaks for itself. But like I said, it's another opportunity for all of us to step up in new roles and take advantage of our opportunities.
Sam Smith, Bulls.com. Coby, obviously, a lot of guards on this team. Could you see the possibility of embracing a Jamal Crawford type of six-man role, even given what you accomplished last season?
Like I said, I'm down for whatever the team needs, whatever role that may be. I'm always been the team first guy, no matter what. So for me, I'll always do what's best for the team, whatever role that may be or whatever necessarily what comes with it.
Drew Stevens with the Bigs. Coby, I believe you're on the record as saying there's nothing you could have done last season to prepare you for the amount of minutes you've got. Billy Donovan spoke to it as well while he was up here. What went into that conditioning work you did this summer to be in a better position this season?
I think just push myself I think with conditioning, the one thing that where I train at, they told me is pushing yourself when you get to that uncomfortable spot where it's you can't breathe and you don't know if you can keep going, but it's pushing past that barrier. So for me, it was trying to reach that limit and then pushing past it, whether it was running. I know where the place I train at, they have a high altitude room. They have all types of ways that you can condition yourself and get better, hot yoga room, whatever it may be. I think part of becoming a better condition is suffering in a way that, like you said, when you get to that moment where it's you can't breathe, you don't know if you can keep going. I think just pushing past that barrier, when you get a little uncomfortable, I think that's how you become well conditioned. So I focused on that a lot this summer. It was super tough and obviously a challenge, but it was fun. It was fun, breaking past barriers and getting to where you want to get to. So yeah.
Yeah, Coby, there's a lot of talk about leadership on this team, the need for it in the absence of DeMar and Alex. They said you helped organize the mini camp this summer. Like, what does leadership look for you like? What does that look like for you now going into this season? I mean, how do you go about embracing that more?
Yeah, I ain't gonna take all the credit. Io was a big help too with the mini camp in Miami. Me and Io kind of led it, and he was a big help. So I think for all of us young guys, for myself, everyone, I think it's like I say, we stepping into a new role. I'm excited for the challenge. It's kind of wild for me to sit here, you to ask me that question, because I'm still only 24, but it's like it's a blessing, for me to be in the best league in the world and be considered as a leader on the team. So for me, I'm never going to take this for granted. I'm going to do my best by my teammates. Always going to put them first. So for me, I just want to help any way that I can. I've had a chance to learn under some great leaders, Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, Thaddeus Young, Garrett Temple. Like, I've had an opportunity to learn from people who's been in this league a long time and that knows what winning looks like. So for me, I just want to take everything that I learned and continue to learn, but also put it into fruition.
Hey, Coby, well-produced CHGO. Do you feel like the game is now slowed down from you? Players always talk about, hey, the game is now slowed down. Do you feel like it's slowed down to where you could see it one step ahead to help you make the right choices in a game?
Yeah, I think it obviously, like I always say, people that comes different for everyone. Some guys might come into the league and they're already, it slows down quicker than some guys. I think for me, it's becoming a slow down. I think last year was a big step in slowing down, but I think I still have a ways to go in terms of manipulating and controlling and being more patient. That's obviously stuff that I worked on this summer. But I think with the experience I had last summer, that's why I'm so excited for this season, that what I went through last season it only prepared me to become a better player. So I think taking everything that I learned this far and putting it and applying it to this season is going to be a good one for me.
Well, what is the biggest thing for you that you've had to step back and accept to take what you did last year, the conditioning part that you talked about, and the mental aspect now to get to that next level?
I think just realizing that, like, now it's got to be I think the biggest thing that I looked in the mirror, like, now it's got to be a night in, night out thing. It's got to be an every night thing. It can't be some games, this game, that game. I got to build on this. And then, like, that's what I talked to DeMar with a lot about, was just like how he prepares for every moment, how he prepares for every game, because he's a guy that obviously does it night in and night out, no matter if we run a back-to-back, Fifth City and 7, whatever it may be. He's a guy so I always pick his brain about it. And that's the one thing that he told me is, like, now you're at the point where everybody knows who you are and what you can do. And now you got to find ways where, you might have the first, second best defender on you each night. Now you got to figure out ways to do it night in, night out, and to do it against when teams are game planning on you. So that's part of some of the honest conversations that me and him have had. So I'm just continuing to learn, and I think that's the one thing that I got to be prepared for. Appreciate y'all.